Good afternoon, and welcome to another Super Secret Project sketch. This is Eric Whalen from Super Secret Project X, and today I gonna do Fujiko from Lupin the Third, and I kind of feel dumb because it came up on Hulu and we're all geeked, and so we watched a couple episodes, but we had other stuff to get through, so we waited probably a little too long. Now they're taking it off, so now we're scurrying to watch Lupin the Third. It is so good. There's a couple episodes every once in a while where you're like, that was all right. But the good ones, oh, they're so good. And I can't help it. I just who I am. I'm there's a hot action babe, brotastically endowed on the show, so that's who we're doing today, which is Fujiko, which is a funny character. She's just what I love about her, and which is really funny because mid-70s, I think, is
I
Lupin.
want to say either mid or late 70s.
So, anyways, roughly mid-70s, so you can compare time periods. And it was the same with Super Friends that I thought was weird. Wonder Woman and Super Friends, like the early stuff, she needed no rescuing. She whooped butt with the boys. Fujiko, don't need no rescuing, kicks butt with the boys, and as a matter of fact, she doesn't always only kick butt with the boys. She sometimes takes advantage of them and steals from them, and it is funny. It is so funny. Hey Joe, how's it going? There was some stupid technical stuff with Facebook, but I got it working again. So,
Oh, wow.
freaking Facebook.
It was 1971.
Was that
The
1971?
original manga is 1967.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that old.
I need to do a deep dive on Monkey Punch because I always liked what I saw, from Lupin, but other than the Miyazaki movie,
Right.
I didn't get to see a ton of it. Hey man, how's it going? We are doing Fujiko from Lupin the Third, and I gotta say, there's some things I really like about this character design. Now it slightly makes more sense that it's from the early 70s because she's simple. And I think that is why I like her so much. And let's just skip over the awesomeness of how great anime can be with really outrageous characters. There comes a point where there's so many outrageous characters, they all just start looking the same. So Fujiko, super simple. And that's what I really like about her. Guess what her hair color is? She's a brunette. No pink, no green, no purple, no multi.
Except when she
anything.
goes into disguises.
Well, no, that's true. But those are disguises. She is just a hot, freaking Japanese lady with tiggle bitties.
Well, the hair thing didn't really start going until like late 70s, early, like in the 80s and stuff. The different types of hair and all that.
Well,
so.
there was some stuff in the 70s sci-fi where they were doing it, like some of the alien girls and stuff,
Right.
and like Lum had green hair. She's one of the earlier characters, so there was some brightly colored hair, and I'm not judging. I think it's awesome, but it's the same thing. And Jason, it's not personal. I always use Dragon Ball Z as my example because it's so clean. It is. When you have that many muscled characters, I want like one scrawny guy whooping butt. That's all I'm saying is I want contrast. And I actually think that they could have gone into Dragon Ball and took some of the muscle off the characters, off of a couple of the characters, and then made a couple of the other characters much bigger and gave me a visual variety. And that's nothing wrong with the show. That's just what I like is variety. And so when I saw Fujiko, I was like, she's so simple. That's what's really awesome about this character, is she's just very simple. She's a brunette. She's pretty, and what I love is, she's the femme fatale on the show. And whenever a girl walks on the screen with a large enough chest, you know someone's going to get their butt kicked or something's going to get stolen because you know it's her. No matter what the disguise is, she's just ridiculously endowed. And that's what's actually kind of awesome is she uses herself against all the male characters, and it's so funny to watch them just fall all over themselves. You're like, you idiots! You know she's messing with you.
Oh, that was that time period.
Yeah. But what's great is she wasn't always like a manipulative, like, that's manipulative stereotype.
Right.
Sometimes she legitimately cared and blah, 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 but sometimes, the paycheck was way too big. And so she was like, yeah, I can screw everyone on the show.
Yeah, I so want to see the Japanese CGI that they
So do
released.
I.
Was
It looks really fun.
End of last year, released over in Japan in theaters, and I'm hoping that we get a Blu-ray release soon because
It just looks so funny.
they just released the English teaser trailer, like I want to say about 3 or 4 days ago. So I'm hoping that we're going to be getting something from them because it's being put out by G Kids.
Nice.
So
I don't think I know them. Are they?
they've done
they new?
a bunch of just like well, shouldn't say lesser known stuff, but a bunch of just like other anime titles and all.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Lupin is no small title.
At
That's
least over there, it's not no.
well, true. But what I'm saying is, overall across the world, Lupin is not like some forgettable title. That's one of the legendary like action titles on the planet, in my opinion.
Yeah, from what I did a quick glance over here, it is as of to this day still like the 6th most popular
Yeah.
series in Japan still.
Well, it's such a good idea. Okay, for those who don't know Lupin the Third, the idea is very simple. Lupin the Third is the world's greatest thief, and it's about him and basically a bunch of other really good thieves going around and getting into shenanigans, robbing people, and it's really fun because it has that mid '60s to early '70s action show feel, where it's all about car chases and gunfights and crazy Mission Impossible like devices and nobody. I don't want to say nobody. People are very rarely actually hurt on the show because they're not evil. They're just selfish thieves. They're not like horrible people, though the authorities would say otherwise. So it's not like they're like, because some anime they'll go right in, the main characters are just like kind of horrible, awful, dreadful people, like just total monsters, like they should be the villains of the show. That stuff exists, and sometimes those shows are pretty good. But with Lupin, it's just fun. It is just freaking fun. Some of the best animated action sequences I've seen has been in Lupin stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My friend George years back showed me, and I've only seen it once. It's Lupin, Plot of the Fuma Clan, something like that. It's that may not be quite right, but it had one of the greatest car chases I have ever seen, and it was all because Lupin had this tiny little car, and the chase was going through buildings. And it was freaking amazing. I just had so much fun watching that movie. So Lupin, I just wish, I just got a political message. Go away. I'm in the middle of talking about hot chicks. It's just rude. World, stop messaging me with your damage. I don't care. I just want the world to go away.
No, not all the world. Just
People are saying stuff.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, wow,
The Fuma conspiracy. Thank you. And it was something like that. I will actually probably have to defer to you because I would love to be a big Lupin the Third fan. It's just one of those titles that whenever I can get to it, I love going there, but I just have not had the opportunity to see as much of it as I would like. I always loved the characters. All of them. There's not one character on there that I don't like. Even Zenigata, which is your obviously doofus lawman,
Right.
who I still say is amazing because he's always right on their heels.
Yeah, he
That takes a
always
lot of
gets-
skill.
He's always there.
He's always there, but he just can't catch them. Like how many people on the planet could like keep on their heels like he does? It's just he can't ever catch them. So I mean, even Zenigata, and yeah, he's there for cheap laughs and all that. I get it, but he's fun. I love how Lupin is sort of a older version of Ataru Moroboshi.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Like he's like a competent, less awful version of Ataru Moroboshi. Like he's always just going after the boobies.
I can definitely see that.
Like he just can't control himself around the ladies. And he's got that. He even has an almost like a taller, thinner, slightly more attractive Ataru look. You know, like he's like they're related. You know.
Oh, he's as much as a womanizer.
Well, the problem is Ataru
So-
wishes he was a womanizer.
No, I mean Lupin.
Lupin is, yeah.
He may have sold his out some places.
He'd better, as much as he tries. But yeah, no, I honestly, it's I have a, which is funny because not seeing a ton of Lupin, it's already rated in my head as one of the best action shows made, and I just haven't seen enough of it.
Yeah.
It's like when people go, "What's the best Space Girls show?" I always say Dirty Pair. I know there might even be better ones out there, but that's the one I always go to because it just has that right feeling to me. And Lupin for like that time period in an action show, it's funny. It does the James Bond trick of going to all the beautiful places on the planet. The illustrators do a really nice job illustrating like Venice or whatever. The mecha artists are always in there doing all these great tanks and vehicles and trains and trucks, and even with the hand done animation where stuff slips a little bit, it still always looks really good, and funny stuff happens in the sequences, and I'm always waiting for Fujiko to just screw them because she's so good at it, you know. I also like how she doesn't always catch them, like they kind of go and they kind of catch her at the last minute sometimes. Just so funny. You know, I like a lot of the new shows. I do. I think animation and storytelling and stuff has gone in a good direction. But there's also a piece of me kind of wanting sometimes a little bit of the old sauce coming back. Not permanently, just as like, you know, on a cycle of like, you know, I want new, I want old. I want new, I want old.
Joe says the great episode I love the most is when someone tried to kill Zenigata with Lupin's signature gun. Let's just say Lupin on the side of justice is scarier than Lupin the thief.
I have not seen that one. It sounds amazing. That sounds so good. Yeah, no, I could see that because when characters get dead serious on the show, they do. They get a little scary.
I mean, it's one of those shows where, for me, the first time I saw it, I didn't think I was going to get into it because it just didn't seem like.
Well, you kind of feel like you've seen it somehow before.
Well, that and
You know?
A lot of the older anime, like the 60s, 70s stuff, I just wasn't into because it
has a certain feeling to it. I can
a
see
certain
why you
feeling and a
wouldn't.
certain look to it. I mean, I grew up on Speed Racer, or grew up, quote unquote. Otherwise, seeing reruns and stuff, and my brothers and sisters, they loved it. They would run home from school to try and catch Speed Racer and all, and I didn't catch it until like I want to say mid 80s or so. And watching it, I wasn't really impressed. And a lot
It's
of
an okay show.
Yeah,
It has its moments.
yeah, and a lot of the stuff I saw was reminiscent of that. So a lot of the older anime didn't catch me. So
Yeah, no, I
when
can see that.
When Lupin came out, I didn't realize. I was thinking like, oh, it looks about the same as his other stuff. And
Until you really had
Yeah.
a chance to sit down and watch it, and then you're like, I was so wrong.
yeah, and then like I said, I was like even more surprised because seeing that it was from like early 70s. To me, it felt like it was something from early 80s because that's when a lot of a lot of the stuff
It
that
was-
I watched with a lot of the action.
It was
from
pretty
that time period.
sophisticated for when it. I mean, it
Yeah.
looked ahead of the curve, to be honest with you. Because when you said, would you say about 72?
72 was the
Yeah.
animated series, and then the manga. Was
Yeah,
like
because
the
I looked at
67.
it and I was going like, that's probably not paying attention to the date. I was going like, that's 78. That's
Yeah, I
almost
was
because
thinking,
it just
mid
it
to late
felt like it was
70s.
a notch ahead.
Right.
And it's funny, we were, whether this is true or not, we don't know, but Lashita was going like, did the Inspector Gadget guys learn from this? And then I looked at it and went, wait a minute, did they?
Yeah.
Because there's like, I kind of want to put the two side, I'm not saying they're the same thing, but put them side by side. They've got that wonderfully goofy look to them and that non-anime, that's not the right way of putting it, but anime has a pretty standard look usually per decade. And Monkey Punch's stuff looked a little different, and Inspector Gadget sort of looked like that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going like, wait a minute, I think she might have something here. I've got no answers on it. Maybe
Yeah.
we're full of it, but I could see what you were saying.
I mean, if you look at the goons and stuff,
The goons.
from Inspector Gadget, and the way that they're drawn with the
I'm not
goofy looking bodies and like the long gangly limbs and stuff, and that's how a lot of the Monkey Punch stuff is drawn, and I'm just like, this looks really familiar, and like you said, I was getting Inspector Gadget
Yeah.
vibes from that. I'm just like, I wonder, because I mean, again, this being from early to throughout the 70s and stuff, when a lot of the series came out.
Inspector Gadget was very
it
early
was
80s.
Early
Yeah,
80s.
very
So,
early
I mean, maybe
80s.
a lot of the people, and it was a Japanese production.
Yeah, it was.
So maybe some of the people.
Well, that's actually what I found
Over and
fascinating
all.
about Inspector Gadget when I went back and it was on Tubi or whatever, and I was rewatching the first season. I was sitting there staring at it going like, wait a minute, nothing else really looks like this except for some types of anime.
Right.
And then I was going like, I could have never guessed that as a kid. You know, I did not have enough in my head to kind of put the two together. And then I was going like, oh geez, that answers the question as to why the vehicles look the way they do. I was like, oh, it's Japanese animated. Oh geez, why didn't I ever?
Yeah,
Probably because my head was in my butt for most of my life. But
when I was a kid, I loved Inspector Gadget. I knew there was something different about it, and I would sit there and watch and see all the names, the Japanese names, come across there, and I would just look, and I'm just like, okay, there's something. Because I mean, like I said, watching Speed Racer as a kid, I knew about a bit of the Japanese, about
Yep.
the Japanese art and culture and stuff like that. Well, I shouldn't say culture, but the animation culture
Yeah.
and the art culture.
you at least had a little bit to go on.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
and also I was a kid who literally I would read dictionaries and encyclopedias for the heck of it. So
Yeah.
so I didn't know a lot about some of the stuff that was able to that came through the way and all. So yeah, I knew that there was some correlation between the two, and I was like, okay, what is so special about this? Why is this so different? Why is it so cool? You know, or as the kid version of me, why is it so totally awesome? And then like as I got older, actually seeing and not knowing that it was actually called anime, but seeing Japanese stuff coming, the few things that came over to the United States around that time period that I saw. Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs, which Japanese title was
Saber Rider,
no, kind of goes.
Star Sheriff.
It was
Shut up, Eric.
like a
Trying to think.
Invention. Let me look it up before I completely murder it because my brain is just
It's okay.
absolutely tired today.
It is honestly, it is one of those days today. I'm trying to get work done, but it's tough today.
It's the last warm day we're probably gonna have for this year. It's all cloudy and gray and fall-like.
And it's dank.
And it's-
The
yes,
air has
yes.
a dank feeling to
Very
it.
much so.
And I'm wearing a shirt. I should not be wearing a shirt when it's dank. I'm doing that for you, TV land.
There it is. That's what it was.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm so full of crap. It's useful sometimes.
That's what it's called. It was called Seijushu Bismarck. Bismarck.
Bismarck.
Bismarck. Seiju.
Bismarck, really?
Yeah, B-I-S, America, yeah.
I'm wondering if that's after the Kaiser or after the battleship.
Let's see, aired on Nippon Television from 1984 to 1985, and the rights were sold to the United States, which is probably why they changed it to Saber Rider because of the whole warship thing.
Well, I mean, maybe there's a dude on there just named Bismarck.
No, there wasn't.
Oh, maybe that's where Bismarcky came from.
Possibly.
Maybe not. Maybe Eric's full of crap.
I'm gonna guess on that one and probably put my money on that.
Okay, good, because I was thinking I was full of crap. Sometimes I just need someone to tell me. Oh.
That's what I'm here for.
I just love it when you run across some Japanese thing that randomly incorporated some American thing that it shouldn't have, and you're like, "What the hell is that?"
The funny thing about Saber Rider, now we'll go back to Lupin after this. I loved it because I didn't find out about any of this because I loved the show when I was a kid, and then I actually had a chance to do research on it because libraries and all that stuff, they didn't have much information about it. And I got older, I was like, oh, let me look up this stuff. The Japanese version, of course, the Japanese kid was the leader. Of course he wore red and all that, so he was the leader. Of course, it was like one of the I'm not Power Rangers. The genre of the team fight, which I am again blanking on the name of that.
The genre of the teen fight.
Team fight.
Sentai.
Yes.
I was like, the genre of the teen fight? Isn't that most anime? just teenagers just whipping the crap out of each other.
That's my new band name, genre of the teen fight.
It's actually kind of sexy.
But yeah, it was the Japanese kid who wore red because red was always the leader. And when they brought it over to the United States, the blonde quote unquote British guy was the leader, which he was actually Scottish in the Japanese version. And growing up, I'm like, wait, if he's supposed to be British, why doesn't he? Because everyone had their flag on their uniform.
Oh, really? Okay.
So it's like, wait, he doesn't have a British flag. What flag is that? It's like, that's the Scottish flag, but why is he British? And he was the leader of the team. And yeah, like I said, in Japan, the guy who wore the red, what was his? It was Saber Rider was the leader, the American leader, and then there was the chick who was the pilot, who was April Eagle, was the American name, and she was English, but in Japanese she was the French character, which again was like, wait, if she's supposed to be American, why does she have a French flag on her stuff, right? And the American character was Bill Wilcox, who was the Texas boy, had accent and everything. I was like, oh jeez.
Why not?
See, it was the American was a Saber Rider, April. What was the cowboy's name? See, I'm gonna look that up too, because man, my brain is just today. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Saber Rider. His original name was Richard Lancelot.
Really?
Yes.
Shinji. Could they have picked a harder name for them to say? Richard Lancelot. Oh crap! That must. Those poor dudes. I'm not making fun of them. I legitimately believe everyone has a right for their language to function the way it does. But there's some words that just are not easy to say in someone else's, tongue.
Oh, absolutely.
That's mean. I think the writer was like, I hate that voice actor. I'm gonna make him say this name.
Alright, here we go. Yep, that's right. And the American version, the Japanese guy was Fireball.
Fireball?
Yes, the original name was Shinji Hikari, and the American version was Fireball Hikari.
Okay, no, I'll give him that. That's not bad.
The Texas dude was William Bill Wilcox. The American version was Colt. Colt Wilcox.
No, okay, I'll give him that too. That's actually a pretty decent name.
Let's see, April Eagle, and since she
I don't like that name.
well, her father was Commander Eagle, so.
I don't like that name either. Unless I'm trying not to be awful here, but unless your nickname is Spread, I don't want it. I don't think Eagle
I
works.
thought we were keeping the sucker PG. You goof.
I never said, hey, you're putting words together. I'm over here just drawing Fujiko. Thinking dirty. What? You don't have to play with the fan. You can just put it down.
What?
I don't know. You're like moving the fan around. I'm going like, what are you doing with the
I was asking
fan?
if you wanted
No,
the fan on, 'cause
I don't want the fan.
Because I was going to turn it towards myself.
Okay, then you turn it towards yourself. Cool yourself. You're over there like waving the fan around. And I'm going like,
No, I was.
what's
moving,
happening?
I was moving it out the way.
Okay. I was like lost. I'm like, something's going on with the fan.
Well, anyway,
I've got bangs to put in, and there's some form of fan dance happening over there.
well, if you think that's bad with the name, the original the ship that transformed into the robot was, of course, called the Bismarck. The American name was called the Ramrod.
Are you being serious
Yes.
with me?
Yeah,
The Ramrod.
yes, I remember when they would do the transformation.
And I'll form the Ramrod. How did that get through?
And the great thing is, Peter Cullen did the voice for the transformation sequence. I'm just like, dude, Optimus Prime is doing the transformation voice.
Ramrod.
Yep.
It's like a robot named the Veiny Dangler. It's just weird.
I'm trying to remember
The heck? Ramrod.
the catchphrase.
What?
The catchphrase. Head him up, move him out, power stride, ready to ride.
Ramrod!
Ramrod sequence, go. I love that show.
You know, I'll be honest, I've never seen any of it. I've seen images from it, and everything you're describing to me is either genius or totally horrifying.
Well, I love it.
And I like cowboy stuff, but it has to be cowboy stuff. Cowboy stuff almost never works when it's not, like, in the Wild
Well, that's
West.
the thing. It wasn't a cowboy show. It wasn't. It was.
You just described a bunch of cowboy things to me.
That was only like a little part of it. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean.
All right.
Yeah, because I mean the Ramrod or the Bismarck, he actually I think he had like a cowboy shaped head, like a little. I gotta look up I gotta look it up just to see.
It was like Conway Twitty for a head.
Dear Lord, no. Let's see. Saber. Joe says.
Engage the corduroy drive. We're driving these dogies home. Ramrod. What the heck?
Get him up, move him out.
Ramrod.
Get him up, Ramrod. Ramrod.
That's what I need. I need a truly redonkulous Sentai Mecha show. I mean, that you'd get some weird ones every once in a while, but I need something totally preposterous. I need something to, okay, a lot of my favorite anime, that I liked a lot of mainstream stuff. But a lot of the stuff I really loved was the weird stuff that would come out on OVAs that you'd just be like...
That's the Ramrod in robot form.
It looks like Shockwave with a cowboy hat. Anyways, I liked the weird, crazy stuff that was made on a low budget where the idea was really funky and strange. And you're just the whole time shaking your head going like, why? Why did they do this? And then you get like really inappropriate fifth grader laughs. I love that stuff because it's so funky and goofy and it just seems like I'm a fan of politically incorrect stuff. I don't want to insult anybody, but I like it when a sense of humor doesn't have a whole lot of rules attached to it. Mm-hmm. You know, and so in Japan don't give a crap about what we think is right or wrong. And that's why you get these titles every once in a while where you're just going like, no.
Which I'm gonna bring it back now to Lupin.
Yeah.
Lupin, the original series, the name that Lupin's father, I think, is Arsène de Lupin or something like that.
De Lupin.
Was actually based off of a character that was copyrighted. And,
Really?
Yeah, in Japan, Monkey Punch, he was just like, I don't care, because apparently it went into.
You know what I think of that? Monkey Punch.
Yeah. And so
And the copywriter goes down bleeding.
apparently it went into public domain. And so,
Oh, really?
Yeah. So and they had a fight about whether or not they were able to use the name Lupin, because they were like, wait, no, this is an actual character, but it's public domain, so we should have the rights to use this. There was going back and forth.
Yeah, there should be.
But originally it wasn't in public domain yet, and
Oh, they started like pre.
yeah.
Oh.
So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
that
mean,
that takes some monkey nuts right there.
Monkey Punch to the nuts.
Pow.
10-4, good buddy there. Son of a gun, monkey nuts. All right, let me look it up just to make sure, because it's actually a pretty good read. Let me find that one. Okay, no, I don't want to do that yet.
You know, I'm actually happy with how this one's turning out. Usually, when I do anime girls now, they just don't turn out as good as I used to do them. Weirdly enough, I'm getting really good at doing like 70s kind of American Hanna-Barbera Ruby Spears kind of hot chicks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is. And when I kind of go back and do like, because I used to do like anime and manga stuff like all the time, and now I kind of hit these moments where I'm like, man, I can't quite nail this like I used to. This was turning out pretty good. I'm kind of course, on the same note, she has sort of a classic kind of 70s feeling to her, so that's probably why part of that.
All right, here we go. All right. The series was created in 1965 by Japanese manga artist Kazuhiko Kato under the pen name Monkey Punch. His inspiration for the series was the fictional French gentleman thief Arsène Lupin.
Lupin.
Created by thank you. Created
That's
by
right.
Maurice Leblanc. Before creating the series, he read 15 of Leblanc's stories. The aim of Lupin III series was to produce a comedy adventure series that reflected the traits of Leblanc's character. Originally, the intention was to keep the blood ties between the two fictional characters secret. However, he was convinced by others not to do so. Monkey Punch combined elements of Arsène Lupin with James Bond to develop the character of Lupin III and made him a carefree fellow. Lupin was given a red colored jacket, which Monkey Punch believes is a flashy, sexy color.
It is kind of pimpalicious.
As the series was to be published in a magazine targeted to adults, Fujiko Mine was created to add a female presence and to fulfill a Bond girl role. Her name was inspired by a picture of Mount Fuji. Monkey Punch added the co-female suffix to create her first name and chose Mine for her family name because of its meaning as summit.
Okay, that's really funny because I was just kind of wondering that when I was putting the post down today for the show. It's like, I wonder if she was just named after the mountain. Then I went, oh, she was named after the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
Right,
that makes complete sense.
Let me find the information about
Oh,
the-
just real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Happy fall,
Oh.
Delirium. Thank you
Happy
for
fall.
showing up. Also, don't watch the live-action Lupin. There was a live-action Lupin the Third movie.
Yes, there was.
Weird and not very good. Yeah, okay, this was funny because when I was watching Lupin last night, I was going like, I wonder if they ever did a live-action of this. Then I went, maybe that would work, but I'm like, that would be hard to pull off.
Yeah, they did.
Mainly because some of the awesomeness of Lupin is the Monkey Punch style and all the,
Yeah.
the
cartoon physics. I mean,
yeah, the
he said-
wild takes and stuff.
And he said himself, he kind of like one of his inspirations was Tom and Jerry.
Oh, I can see that. Oh man, can I see that with like the tooth jokes?
It says in the manga they operated individually. However, in the anime adaptations, the group tends to work together. Inspector Zenigata was conceived as Lupin's arch rival to create a human Tom and Jerry.
That is amazing. That feels exactly right.
All right, here we go. The copyright and stuff. Monkey Punch did not ask permission to use the Arsène Lupin name, and at the time, Japan did not enforce trade copyrights. By the time LeBlanc's estate launched legal action in Japan, the name was considered to have entered into common use. However, this was not the case in North America and Europe, and several foreign releases of Lupin III media dropped the Lupin title, and the character himself was renamed to Rupin or Wolf. In France, the series was known as Edgar, Detective Chambrolier, which means Edgar, Detective Burglar, with Lupin himself renamed Edgar de la Cambriole, Edgar of Burglary. Monkey Punch has stated that using the same character design, behavior, and face would be illegal, but using a name alone is not illegal. In 2012, LeBlanc's original Arsène Lupin entered the public domain in France due to 70 years passing since his death in 1941, and is in public domain for any country that enforces the rule of the shorter term. So there's that.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Things learned today.
Well, it's. God, I hope it's not because I'm getting old. I really do. Hopefully it's because I just am trying to gain more perspective on stuff. TV land out there, I don't think that any time period is better than any other. I also don't think things are good just because they're new or old. I have a tendency of thinking that I just want to watch the good stuff, period. And every time period has different advantages and disadvantages. The stuff coming out right now has a lot of advantages. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of interesting things happening. And whether you are, for example, into sort of this is going to sound funny, but like I guess sort of the gay lifestyle stuff, like She-Ra and that, I like that stuff because there's like that element where you're like, wait, what's going on? Oh, right on. Oh, that's cool. Like you're like, that's fun. That's, the whole thing with She-Ra and Catra and blah blah. I was going like, yeah, this is a scene I haven't seen before. Thank you. You are entertaining me with something new and kind of comparatively fresh in some ways. But on the same note, so I'm liking that stuff, but I'm also like looking at some of the old stuff going like, I'm sort of missing some of the shtick of some of the old shows. And Lupin is a really good example of a really good, solid, old-style action show. And I'm not saying the new stuff sucks. I'm just saying I want what we're doing now. I want some of that, but I also kind of want a little bit of Dirty Pair back. I want a little bit of Lupin back. I want a little bit of the old stuff. I also want a little bit of like that grimy 80s anime action horror stuff that you were wondering if the people were mentally ill when they put it together, because you hit these moments where you're like, oh, like, I don't want that all the time, but a little every once in a while keeps you on your feet. Oh.
Joe says, you need to see the episodes where he either captures Lupin or when Lupin turns himself in. Instant classics. We're hopefully going to get there before they take it down on us.
Yeah, we're trying to get through them, but honestly, there's a ton of episodes. I think we've got like 4 days left, and I can't be spending all of it watching cartoons. I got to get this stuff done, and hopefully I'm on my last set of edits on a book I'm doing right now. It's about 125,000 words, and no matter how fast I'm moving, just chewing that many words is time consuming. But I'm really happy with how the book's coming out and stuff. And so at the moment, I just wish I could just be like, turn my brain off, open up a bag of Doritos, and just turn into like a total like human like couch troll, but I can't. That's for vacation.
Joe says, I want Battleship Yamato Star Blazers back.
There's another really good one. Yeah. There's a bunch of old stuff where I don't even like using the words old stuff. I'm just like, okay, I understand the need to do a little updating on things. But on the same note, if it takes away from the feeling of the original show, don't update.
If you can't add to it, then what's the point? That's
right. If it's not adding to the show, then it doesn't matter that you're updating it for the kids or whatever. Because the kids don't give a crap. Mm-hmm. They don't know what it is. Make it what it is. And then if the kids watch it and they like what it is, then you're going to get the right kids. Don't try to capture more kids. There's already an older audience that likes it. The younger audience will follow along if they get into it. Why do I know this? Because I did it when I was young, and everybody I knew did it when they were young. So I still think Mission Impossible is one of the greatest TV shows ever made. That was not made for me. That was a whole generation ahead of me, and I grew up on that and still love it to this day.
Yeah, I mean, and that is what tickles your interest bones.
Yeah. Well, it's also, which is funny, and this is one of the reasons why I like some of the old compared to the new sometimes, is because I suddenly realized, and it's specifically two of my favorites. It is Mission Impossible and MacGyver. Neither of which can properly be done in this time period. Because everything is too electronic, everything, the technology is too slick, it's too computerized. Those shows worked because the tech was more archaic. There was more chemicals and hinges and this and that, and there was stressful moments. This great scene in one of the Mission Impossible episodes is the whole scenario is running where they're in this big house, and Barney, the mechanical guy, he's in the walls, slowly moving through the walls with all of these like silenced, heavy like cutting equipment for like cutting holes and stuff. Buzzsaws with silencers on it, essentially. And so there's this dude just like, and it's great because it's that 70s look, sweaty. And on top of it, Barney's the black guy, right? So really looked great, sweaty, right? Because the with all the highlights, and he's just moving in between the walls, and then somebody's over, like Peter Graves is over here being all slick and stuff, and he's like, and it's just like that. It's just that sort of stuff is awesome to me. I was like, oh, he's getting dust in his eyes. You're going, oh, how's this gonna come out? But that's kind of why I like Lupin, because it has like sort of that manual old. They use kind of the crazy like devices and stuff from time to time, and it's just good freaking stuff. And on the same note, I don't want to give up my new stuff either. I just don't. I'm not going to be one of those old guys. If it's new, it sucks. It's like, no. There's some shows I don't like. There's a lot of new shows I do, so.
Joe says, Automan can't be done now. People go overboard because technology has advanced since then.
They wouldn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
The fact that the car does an instantaneous 90-degree turn, nobody... And I'm not going to say nobody, but I'm going to say a lot of the younger generation would be like, what?
Well,
unless they've seen Tron and they're really into that stuff, then they'd get it, but...
Well, not only that, but it's like, the computer technology they have, then we're living right now in that stuff. So it's like, it's not even... it's not even come on, brain, why are you doing this to me? It's
do it, brain, do it.
I know.
Do it, brain, do it.
I am running low on brain juice.
I think both of us are not real slick today.
But,
I'm trying to be. I'm just glad I'm producing something resembling quality here.
But yeah, I mean, I agree, Joe. You couldn't do that today. I mean, a lot of the computer shows from back then you couldn't do. You can't do now because it's just everything is just so technological and
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's not. It's just
it won't work.
There's no adventure sense anymore, and that was the.
It's a different sense.
Yeah.
It's like there's the Indiana Jones sense, and that's because of the time period, right? It's tanks and diesel and horses can still be involved, and old world and the newest of the new world is like still not that new. So there's like, it's really kind of archaic. Right. And then there's the stuff that I really like, which is sort of the Mission Impossible MacGyver stuff, the 60s to the 80s period, where there's some computers, there's some laser stuff, but there's still a possible need to actually have buzzsaws come up out of the piano bench.
Yeah. I'm right there with you.
I mean, that's a heck of a way to, play. Well, pick your favorite piano song, and you're just like, and then, and you're like, the leg comes off, and you're still trying to hit the. Great show. What was I talking about again?
I have no idea. I pretty much just said, you know what, this is all in this round, because no matter what I do, you're gonna throw me off track.
I'm sorry. I'll shut up. Please continue.
No. This is what this is your thing, man.
I don't want to be rude, though.
No, if I have something, I will. Because, well, heck, I've been trying to do stuff and my brain just keeps shutting down. So I'm like, nope.
Just keep going, Eric.
Yeah, because I am offering little than I normally do, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm gonna let him carry this for this round.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like the modern day Mission Impossible stuff is good.
Yeah,
It was actually,
but it does feel different.
yeah,
It feels significantly different.
yeah, because different technology,
Yeah.
different time period, yeah, and nothing wrong with that.
The stuff that they really work on well is the stuff where it's like there's no logical way to do it high tech. That's where I think the new Mission Impossible movies really succeed. But you hit stuff where it's like, and I hate to say it, but and I get that some people are really like into computer hacking stuff, but a lot of computer hacking stuff just is not that interesting on screen. I'm not saying it can't be done, and I'm not saying it can't be done well, but on average, we gotta get the thing. I mean, it's kind of awesome. You could edit it right and make it interesting, then connect it into an action scene somehow. Sure, absolutely, but not with the sheer variety you can get with like that old action where it was like almost anything could happen. And you don't even need explosions, but some, like one of my favorite, I saw it only once. It was a Chow Yun Fat movie. He was chainsaw fighting with another dude, and it was two chainsaws, like a sword fight. And I only saw that scene once. It was one of his earlier movies, and I was just going like, "What is happening?" I was going like, "Oh, no, this is what I need at this moment." Yeah. This is the good stuff right here.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
That'll do. That'll do her. That'll get done to her.
Joe says it makes for boring storytelling, hacking, that is. Well, yeah. Actual
It has to be done
hacking,
really well to do otherwise.
Yeah, like real life hacking. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
actually
it's-
really boring, except for the part where you probably actually get in, and then it's like, yay, and then from there. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's all Hollywood, pretty much like
Yeah.
everything.
It's
else.
like action IT. And I'm not trying to insult any hackers out there. I'm just simply saying that it can be done, but give me an older style action something. Indiana Jones is going to be super hard to beat for the rest of human reality, I think. Like Mission Impossible is going to, for what it is, it's going to be hard to beat. And I'm not saying that there aren't better shows out there. I'm just going like,
Yeah, but it all, yeah, I mean, it also depends on your taste and what you like.
Absolutely.
I mean,
there's going to be Wild West people out there that are going like, yeah, that's great and all. I've seen those. I enjoy those movies, but it ain't nowhere near as good as Fistful of Dollars or
Yeah, well,
The Good, the Bad,
$2
oh, Food, yeah, blah blah blah, which are great movies too. And
yeah, I mean, me personally, Mission Impossible, the movies that we saw, the more modern movies, I thought those were pretty fun.
they were fun.
The
Yeah,
original one, it wasn't really my thing. But
I had a hard time with that one.
Well, I mean, like I said, the original show that you
Oh,
liked.
the original
Yeah.
show. I thought you meant the original movie.
I don't think I saw the original movie. Or did we? Did we see that in theater? I can't
It's like
remember.
when Tom Cruise did the first one in like the 90s or
Yeah, I
whatever.
was trying to remember if we saw that.
I
in
didn't
theater
like
or
the
not.
first couple of them.
Yeah.
They eventually got really quite good though.
Right. But yeah, I completely forgot what I was going to say. But anyway.
Sorry.
No, it's again, I'm out of brain juice. I was trying to figure out what I was bringing up in the first place.
Getting our brain juice.
Yeah. What was that 80s movie, Hackers?
Yeah, like there were some examples. What was one I really enjoyed? Sidney Poitier and Sneakers. I remember I thought Sneakers was actually, and I went back and rewatched it. It's a little aged feeling, but it had a little bit of the Mission Impossible stuff. It had some of the hacker stuff in it. It was fun. So it works.
Just says a good Tomb Raider or Uncharted movie franchise could beat Indiana Jones, but I don't think there isn't many people up to
Theoretically,
the
yeah.
story well, they're actually going to be doing an Uncharted.
There's supposed to be an Uncharted movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being someone who likes himself some Uncharted, I'm not going to hold my breath.
Well,
So that's a tall order.
Yeah,
But it could work.
Yeah, from what I've been hearing, they're going to keep it as faithful to the original stuff as possible. So, and especially with it being a video game movie.
Well, they're going to bump into the main problem, which is why video games are whooping the crap out of movies in many ways. I get to watch a movie and play it for 20, 30 hours, and there's that whole story. And in the movie, admittedly, it's more concise and tighter and stuff, and not going to argue that. But some of the Uncharted stuff was really great. Uncharted 4 was amazing because you didn't even know what the story was until like 10, 12 hours into the story. I mean, you knew they were following characters and a logical progression of events was occurring. There was a story, but you didn't know where the heck it was going. You didn't know what the Uncharted thing at the end of it was. Like in the first couple of games, you knew roughly you were going for El Dorado or whatever, and you roughly knew. That one, you didn't even know where you were going. And that was part of the fun, because when you got to the piratey end and the pirate islands, and you saw the pirate cities and all the pirate battles and the bodies and the cannons and all the pirate stuff everywhere, and the giant pirate vaults with the pirate statues, and it was just
Say pirate again.
Pyrite. Take that. I even brought a mineral into it.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Okay.
Fool's gold, you.
I'm just too tired. You can try and fight back.
Perfect. Wait, isn't that how I got you to go out with me in the first place? I just wore you down.
Thank you, Steve Urkel. I'm wearing you down, baby. I'm wearing you down.
He's funny in small doses. In large doses, he ceased to be funny.
I like Steve Urkel. But yeah.
Wear it down, baby. No, it's funny.
Oh, somebody's smoke alarm across the street's going off. But yeah.
It's not a bad Fujiko. I'm actually kind of happy with this one.
That's it.
Usually when I do the anime characters again, I just get my butt handed to me. Like I'm just not hitting the line. It's like when I try to do the Powerpuff Girls. I just cannot seem to get them right. No matter how hard I try. Like the anime girls have been kind of whooping me too. I'm kind of glad I got this one. This one's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I remember the anime days back in college.
Yeah, I wish I could have made something of that.
Yeah. Now that's actually how you got me to go out with you, because I remember like in.
Brainless persistence,
Well, that beside the point. But
slack-jawed stupidity.
in college,
Oh.
like when I first got there, because you were there a year before I got in, and when I got there, I remember taking the tour of the halls and looking around and everything, and your one black and white picture.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was hanging. That they
When I used to do a
actually
lot of pen
displayed-
and ink, yeah.
Yeah, that they actually were displaying because it was good. I remember stopping and just staring at that, and I'm just like, that looks really awesome. And I'm just like, I'm gonna meet the person who did
Yeah.
that.
Back when I used to use tech pens, yeah. Tech pens are great, but hate to say it, computers just whoop their butts. But they're really a good tool.
I had to go back and because tech pens annoyed the heck out of me because
Yeah.
my first college when I was in Indiana, the art teacher there made us buy an entire set of tech pens,
You only need one or
and we
two.
had to draw with those things constantly because he was a industrial artist.
That makes complete
And
sense.
so
That's their thing.
He made all of us do all of this stuff this way with this kind of stuff, and there was no freedom of usage unless, except for this one kid who had access to airbrushes and pens and all this stuff, while the rest of us were like literal working people. Some were parents, some had kids, and we're like, we're trying our best to
Keep going on.
to do our work here. Meanwhile, this 19-year-old kid whose entire existence is going to college and having free time was getting all of this stuff done. But anyway, tech pens. Yeah, I did not like tech pens for a very long time because of this guy. He was like an artistic version of Tim the Toolman Taylor. And
You get those guys, yeah.
and it was just like
Yeah, the tech guys do some amazing stuff, but they can be they can be really, really rigid. Could you do me a favor and look up Lupin the Third's Ami and Rebecca real quick?
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Because if I like the characters, I have no problem with drawing hot chicks.
Lupin, Ami, Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca Mussolini.
Mussolini?
Rossellini.
Oh, I was going like, really?
Rossellini. Her name is Rebecca Rossellini. Is a recurring character in the Blue Jacket series.
My God, the Blue
That's-
Jacket series.
That's Rebecca.
Okay, so
And then Ami. Come on, go back. Rebecca. Ami Enan. She looks kind of
oh, she's adorable. Yeah, I'll look into it, man. I'll see what we can do. The problem I bump into is I often don't know what I'm doing until about 40 seconds before I do it. So I don't do a lot of pre-planning. I sometimes actually succeed in doing so. Uh-oh, they found me.
That's what I was thinking. I heard somebody's smoke alarm is going off, and I think they're finally getting there.
All right. Well, I had probably better be wrapping things up because apparently the world is burning down over here. So, catch you guys next week as I'm trying to speak over the sirens. Oh, I didn't even get close to doing that right. There we go. All right. Thanks for joining us, man. Everyone have yourself a good